Hello there, and welcome to my review of day one of Rob's Warhammer tournament and a bit of a preview of day two. So, how did day one go? It went quite well. My first game was against Obeyed with his High Elves. He had a really good High Elf list. He had 2 units of Illyrian Reavers, which I still think are rubbish. They didn't really impact on the game very much. I just ignored them and they didn't really do anything. He had, what else did he have? He had some Luthern Sea Guard, he had some Phoenix Guard. Oh, that is terrible driving, honestly. Someone just decided to stop in the middle. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, he had a level 4 wizard, he had a prince on a dragon. Yeah, everything I think was really, really, really tight. I managed to get my big 36-inch fly off with Cedar Shadows. I didn't realise actually throughout the game, and this is a hint to anybody who's playing Chaos Warriors, if you take a level 4 wizard and you give it 2 spell familiars, because they're extremely common, you just get all 6 spells. So actually, because I've taken the Law Familiar and a Spell Familiar, so I can choose my 5 spells, but that was 45 points of magic items, whereas 2 spell familiars would be 30, and I'd just be able to get all 6. So just pick which one I'm, idiot. I realised that on the morning really, but which is a bit annoying. So I wasted 15 points effectively. But anyway, yeah, I played against Obeyed. He's played with that list quite a lot. Literally, my list was on Thursday after a rugby training. I thought, oh no, I've got this tournament on Saturday. What models have I got? So basically, my list is, a big block of Chosen and some other stuff. A Lord on a Manticore, level 4 wizard on foot, big block of Chosen. So the big block of Chosen basically did quite a bit of work, more or less just by sitting behind his lines and making him panic. The core knights were great, like massive aggro. They just sort of blasted through more or less everything they hit, which was wonderful. And then the unit of Chosen engaged with the Lord, that then got stuck there, and then I managed to flank the Lord with my Manticore Lord, and then I managed to win combat by like 8 or 9 or something ridiculous. And because of numbers, I massively outnumbered him, so he had to run off, and I caught him. So that was that really. So I caught his Lord. I'd run his mage off the board, and at that stage it was pretty much over, to be honest. There was a game-winning turn at turn 3, so that went quite well. Second game was against dwarves, and oh my god, it was like wading through treacle. The chap, I've forgotten his name, Andy, I think it was. He's got a YouTube channel, like Andy 2D6 or something, and he was lovely, really good opponent actually. Like, he explained everything really well. He went through his list. He was very clear and concise. He really read the rules. He really understood how the game worked. We didn't really have to have that many discussions. We didn't really have that many weird interactions though. I won just. I just got over there because it was a 100-point margin for a win, basically. So I just got over the 100-point. I don't know how though. I felt like I'd lost at the end, to be honest. I felt like I was losing pretty much from. Actually, turn 2, my turn 2, I got really, really lucky with a couple of, in fact, by making all the 3 charges that I needed to make, and I rolled a maximum 9-inch charge every single time. So I got really lucky with that. Then my troops just sort of started munching their way through all these bloody dwarves. I didn't get off Steed of Shadows at all, which really didn't help, because the Chosen were essentially out of combat for an extra turn. And an extra turn, ladies and gentlemen, is essentially 2 rounds of combat. So they're out of combat for 2 turns, which essentially gave him an extra 2 turns of basically. Then also he did a bit of line hammer because he had to make a disordered charge. So basically he had one unit there and he had another unit behind, so they had to sort of charge and not like meet up properly. So he made a line hammer sort of thing with his hammerers, which was pretty horrible for me because they've only got one attack anyway, so it didn't really affect them. Whereas my frenzied chosen with their 3 attacks each, I lost a lot of potential. And then when we'd finally managed to sort of get into full base-to-base contact, I just couldn't seem to hit with the chosen. Like, there was one round of combat where I had 12 attacks with my chosen and all of them missed. Hitting on 4s, all misses. Absolutely insane maths. What's 2 to the power 12? Whatever 1 in that is, that's what happened then. And then the next turn, I only managed to hit with 4, and then only 1 of them wounded. So just some terrible dice rolls there. I think I got really lucky with those charges, but I think that was the only I'm going on the A52. That was the only did I get lucky with anything? I think my armour saves were pretty lucky actually, and my ward saves, so I think it all kind of balanced out. One thing he did that was absolutely genius was so I'd hit his unit of what are they called? Rangers. Rangers are so good. They've got BS4. I didn't realise that. I thought they were just like dwarf warriors with like BS3, but no, they've all got BS4, which is fantastic. I didn't realise that. And combined with all the dwarves' natural, really cool abilities, like dwarf crafted and so on and so forth, their rangers are exceptionally good. Rangers and hammerers for the win, I think, for dwarves. I'm re-evaluating my future dwarf list. It was a really good list, to be fair. I really liked it. I really liked the way it played. It caused me some tremendous difficulties because we were on Battle for the Pass, which is the lengthways one. It really limited my movement as well. So literally everything just had to essentially, sprint forwards as quickly as possible and just hope for the best, really. Just withered the storm before we got into combat. But then when we got into combat, we weren't very effective. Certainly in the middle against the hammerers. Had I killed that unit of hammerers or got some more hits off, then I think it would have been a way different game. But it didn't happen. But I think overall the dice were fairly balanced for both of us. One nuts thing that happened for him was he managed to misfire with an organ gun in his first turn. So he rolled the 2 misfires, engineer nearby, re-rolled one of the misfires into a misfire. So you're already at 1 in 218 sort of territory. Is it 218? Yeah, 1 in 218 territory. And then he rolled a 2 on the misfire chart. Which is like 1 in 536 in terms of the outcome. So in terms of how bad the outcome was, really, it could have been worse. We could have rolled another one, but yeah, so he couldn't fire this turn or next. However, every other time he shot with an organ gun, it was doing 14 hits, so he got fairly lucky with the number of hits with the rest of the shots, so it kind of made up for it a little bit. Organ guns are actually really nasty, like strength 5 AP2 is pretty horrendous, and they're 30-inch range, so you're within half range quite quickly. So they are very, very good. I really like organ guns. I had one chosen knight champion left later on in the game that charged into an organ gun and annoyingly took about 3 turns to kill the crew. He really should have killed all of them on the charge, but whatever. So let me just check my charging cable. It's in. So I won that by very, 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 very slim margin. And then game 3 was up against Mark Wildman, who had his Beasts of Chaos list. Mark Wildman is a playtester, and despite that, and he's a really decent bloke. Actually, we spent most of the game like bickering in a kind of in a friendly manner. Most of the times when I'm playing Warhammer, I'm like quite polite, you know, a little bit sweary because that's my personality, but you know, quite polite and, you know, try to not upset people. Mark, however, because he's a seasoned Warhammer player, we were able to have some banter, which was great. So we spent most of the game just shouting at each other in like a, you know, in a kind of, you know, in a that kind of manner, like in a jovial manner, which was good. And yeah, he absolutely smashed me in the end. His list is just horrible. The weird thing about Rob's tournament, so the tournament rules pack, match play rules pack says a maximum of 3 units, regardless. So normal limits apply if it's lower than 3, but if there's no limit on the number, you can't, so to avoid spam. Rob, however, in his tournament, he said 0 to 6 on core choices, which meant that Mark was able to take 4 Tuskgore chariots and 2 Razorgore chariots. So he was able to basically fit his list into Rob's comp. Now, 6 chariots was absolutely, I mean, Mark played me like, you know, my knights were all frenzied. He put his gores out so they had to charge. I managed to avoid charging by not rolling Swift Stride, so keep them out of combat with the chariots for a bit longer, which, you know, kind of worked. The problem with like frenzy is that you have to overrun, you can't reform, and I think actually with hindsight, I'd rather go for like knights charging and trying to get combat res than like maybe units of 6 knights is the answer. I don't know, knights, you know, I know Rob doesn't like knights. I don't know what other core choice I'd rather take other than, you know, maybe Marauder Horse are a better option. I don't know, but I think the core choices for Chaos are a bit rubbish, because yes, you've got Chaos Knights and yes, you've got Chaos Warriors, but Chaos Knights only have a 3-up save and they don't have a ward save, so they have toughness 4, which is okay, but like, you know, then yeah, so Mark played me very well. I just couldn't, I did get really unlucky though, in that I managed to miscast 3 times in the game, which, you know, bearing in mind it's 1 in 36, you know, I definitely got all my miscasts out in that game. So, why is it so hot in here? Oh, I've got the temperature to 24, that's right. Yeah, so I got all my miscasts out. That, you know, I do rely on magic a lot. My wizard charged his Great Grey Shaman, which was great. They both had an assailment. Yeah, Mark had chosen the wrong assailment for his character. He rolled both of the assailments from whatever lore he had. Viletide wasn't as bad with Hagtree Fetish. Viletide wasn't as bad as I think a lot of people have made out. You know, he did roll 22 hits, which, you know, again is above average. He managed to do 4 wounds to my Chaos Lord with its ward save. I managed to save one of those with a ward. So the one time he got it off, you know, it didn't go so well for him. He only, well, I say it didn't go so well. He got 3 wounds, which I think he'd only got 1 wound on it beforehand. Oh shit, I'm in the wrong lane again. It's the same bloody road. Sorry, I'm just apologising because I had to undertake the person there to get in the right bloody lane. He just because I'm not really in charge of where my units go, he just kind of led me around the table. There was one role. So, and the other 1 in 36 thing I managed to do was get stupidity on my Chaos Lord in the second term with Eye Gods. You know, I have given him, you know, a re-roll of that, but I managed to roll another one. So, like, there were lots of PE dice rolls that went very badly for me. And then he failed a stupidity check later on, where I could have gone off and like done a bit of damage, you know, and caused him a bit of a problem. But that, and then and then I turned around to charge him in the last turn, and then I failed stupidity again. Like, it was that was absolutely brutal, really. I don't know that I could have done anything better than I did, to be honest. I don't think, you know, I made any particularly egregious mistakes other than maybe in list construction. Sorry, I just dropped something under my feet. Bother. So other than in list construction, but I don't know what to do for core for Chaos Warriors. I think Warriors of Chaos do very well because they've got some excellent choices for level 4 wizards. They've got some excellent choices for lords and mounts and stuff. They've got Chosen, which are brilliant. Like, all the Chosen are great. They've got, I think Forsaken is probably the option, isn't it? Forsaken Hardcore, and I think they're probably the best option. I just don't have any bloody models. That's game 3. Game 4, I've got a Chaos Warrior mirror match, and he's also got a Manticore, but he's got 10 Chosen Knights, and I've got 23 Chosen Warriors. So hopefully the Chosen Knights can come up against the Chosen Warriors, and we'll see who's best, which will be an interesting exercise, I think. But anyway, that's day 1 done. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend, and I shall catch you again soon. Sorry, I'm just a bit lost as to where I'm supposed to go now. I'm just driving into Nottingham again, and if you watched the video from yesterday, you'll know that the road system in Nottingham is chaos. Lanes just go all over the place. I sound very old when I say that, don't I? Bloody confusing, all over the place. I don't know why that's my old person voice. Probably because, you know, a lot of my clients are farmers, and most of the older people I know are bloody old-fashioned farmers. Right, anyway, you know, if you've, I don't know why you like this video, but people seem to. But if you've liked the video, there's a button for that. You know, if you've got this far, perhaps consider subscribing if you feel this video has earned that. Again, I don't really know why, but whatever. I should be more positive about myself, shouldn't I? I should be like, yes, this is fantastic content. Anyway, toodaloo.